So do you feel as though you're kind of close to where you need to be individually, and are you starting to see the signs that everybody's kind of raring to go here?
Yeah, you start to games get faster. Obviously, more guys are playing in lineups, and that sort of intensifies as the next week and a half, 2 weeks go on. So I mean, still, I think we're focusing on dialing in the details of our new structure and how we want to play, and that's going to be a big part of what we do tonight.
How long does that take typically? You've been around new coaches and new systems enough in your career. How long does that typically take?
Depends on the guy. I mean, I think as long as we're communicating, we'll be fine, and we've been fine thus far when we're talking and reading off each other. Obviously, there's times where you can get in a little trouble if sort of miscommunications or two guys trying to do the same thing. But I mean, I think for the most part, we've been really good at handling what we're trying to change.
A lot of guys here. There's a lot of familiarity, but there's also some new faces. Do you see that chemistry, where it needs to be?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you're never gonna have the exact same team every year, right? So I mean, there's a ton of us back from last year, and then I think all the new guys in here have been great. A lot of energy. Playing well, good players, and then we got some young guys that are have stepped up and really fighting for jobs and playing awesome. So I mean that brings some energy to the team, and it's awesome to see.
What's the biggest transition going from man to zone in the defensive zone?
Just communication, I think. A lot less moving for the D and a lot more for the centermen. So just being on the same page and just reminding yourself where you need to be in certain situations and staying patient. Definitely a little bit more passive than we have been in the years past.
How have you found with those two games specifically so far?
Been awesome so far. I mean, we only played the one game and we were good, but it was not much of a game. So we'll see how tonight goes. I mean, there's things you build on each game, but he's a very good skater, good with the puck, and smart player. So it's been a pleasure so far.
You're known as a guy that makes life very easy for his defense partners. Just what are you trying to do to maybe help Jordan acclimate, or on the ice, just what are you trying to do to make him
we're just talking a lot and trying to make him feel comfortable. I think when you go to a new team, you never know how you're going to react. Guys are going to react. So I think if you feel comfortable, you're going to play your best. So
sorry to interrupt. I know you had mentioned communication as something as a way to adjust to the new D-zone reads this year. How big of a deal is communication this year compared to the strategy last year? How much of an emphasis is communication this year compared to last year?
Well, I mean, I think you always need communication. It's just it may be in different aspects of the game. I mean, last year it's man on man, so you're responsible for your guy, right? So this year there's going to be a lot more switching and a lot more center movement. So I mean, D and centers and wingers and centers focusing sort of as it's communicating, focusing on where they need to be and in the spots they need to be to sort of prevent chances against is going to be important.
Are there things as a defenseman you can do in zone coverage that you maybe aren't able to do in man coverage?
I mean, it's different. You're never going to be at the blue line chasing a guy, right? So we're trying to stay a bit closer to our net this year and protect Markey and not give up those grade A chances. If there's one breakdown and one guy gets beat in man-to-man, you're usually going to give up a chance. So we're trying to play with a few more layers of protection and sort of leave our shots to the outside for the goalies.
Chris, you mentioned young guys stepping up. I'm just curious what you've seen in Matt Coronato's game, whether it's in-game situation or just battling him in practice.
Yeah, Matty's been awesome. I've only played one game with him, and he had a hat trick. So I mean, I don't think he can do much better. But yeah, he works his behind off and he competes, and awesome kid off the ice. Such a nice, humble kid, and pleasure to have around.
Chris, at this point in your career, do you still have the juice this time of year? Do you ramp up with it? I mean, you've been through enough camps to sort of know how to do it, or is this just all business-like for you at this point?
Yeah, I think there's always things you're trying to get better at every game, right? Whether it's now or in the season, there's things you can always improve on and be better at. So my focus is on that, and yeah, definitely getting the pace where it needs to be. Obviously, the game we've played wasn't that great of a game. So I mean, as this week goes on here, games are going to be tighter, and and faster. So moving the puck and making those reads, especially in our end in the neutral zone, that'll be a little bit different than years past.